è un vero piacere dire due parole dopo il mio carissimo amico Emilio. Emilio e Carla Juaçaba sono legati da un piccolo rapporto con me, perché in due vesti diversi mi hanno dato una vera mano, solo come gli amici sanno dare, a realizzare una piccola cosa che abbiamo fatto a Venezia quest'anno in occasione della Biennale. In occasione della Biennale lo Stato del Vaticano mi ha chiesto, la città del Vaticano mi ha chiesto di realizzare il primo padiglione dedicato all'architettura, padiglione nazionale della Santa Sede alla Biennale di Architettura. E alcuni amici hanno accettato l'invito di costruire delle cappelle, ne abbiamo costruite 10 in un bosco a Venezia, e uno di questi è Emilio, di cui l'ho ringraziato talmente tante volte, ma mi piace dirlo adesso perché è anche un segno di che cosa il mondo che lui rappresenta e questa manifestazione può dare a far sì che si facciano delle cose, non so se belle, ma sicuramente interessanti. E l'altra cosa è che ringrazio Carla perché il mio compito in occasione della costruzione del padiglione del Vaticano, che mi è stato affidato, era di progettarlo e sulla base del progetto che io ho presentato alle autorità vaticane, io non volevo fare un padiglione. I padiglioni sono cose che ospitano delle mostre e tutte le mostre di architettura mostrano soltanto cose che non sono nate, mentre invece l'architettura vive, chi produce ceramica lo sa benissimo, vive nel sole, nella pioggia, nel variare delle temperature con i materiali, eccetera. E volevo costruire delle cose, volevo costruire delle costruzioni. Abbiamo costruito 10 cappelle in un bosco, perché il bosco è sempre il simbolo del vagare della vita, dall'Orlando Furioso che così comincia alla Divina Commedia, e come luoghi di incontro. E appunto degli amici molto, molto generosi come Emilio ci hanno dato una mano a farlo, e degli architetti molto generosi come loro ci hanno dato un'altra mano a farlo. Volevo che fossero architetti molto conosciuti e capaci di esprimere delle esperienze nuove rispetto a quello che è la loro normale attività. Scegliendo Norman Foster, per esempio, non volevo che Norman Foster facesse Norman Foster. Volevo che Norman Foster facesse quello che Norman Foster non può mai fare, quello di essere libero, quello di non avere richieste, pressioni da parte dei committenti. Poi volevo che fossero architetti di tutto il mondo. Io magari ho fatto delle scelte giuste, delle scelte sbagliate, non lo so assolutamente, ma non ne sono pentito. Poi volevo che fossero di tutte le generazioni, che venissero da tutti i continenti, che non vi fosse alcuna limitazione per quanto riguarda le fedi, le confessioni, le idee, nessuno ha chiesto niente. Il Vaticano da questo punto di vista è stato un committente straordinario. E se ci pensate bene, la Chiesa Cattolica, la grande Chiesa Cattolica, è stato il più grande committente proprio per questa libertà che ha dato a tantissimi, grandissimi geni nel campo delle arti, dell'architettura. Vi immaginate Caravaggio, personaggio sicuramente difficile, non... Vi pensate Borromini, pensate Michelangelo. Eppure la Chiesa Cattolica li ha accolti tutti, e questo è il grande significato della Chiesa Cattolica, di accogliere e di valorizzare le grandi intelligenze. E così nel piccolissimo, in una piccolissima esperienza quale quella che io ho fatto, realizzando per loro questo padiglione formato da 10 cappelle, ho goduto della stessa libertà, e la cosa straordinaria è che ne hanno goduti tutti. Emilio lo sa bene, La sua industria ha dato la libertà a un architetto di fare quello che voleva fare. E così anche un personaggio come Edoardo, sotto le mura, impegnati nel mondo della professione, sono stati liberi, una condizione unica che non si ripeterà tantissime volte. E così anche Carla. Ma Carla ha avuto un problema diverso, perché il primo progetto che ci ha mandato, non so se lo farà vedere, I don't know if this evening we can see your first scheme for the Vatican. Is it? Yeah? No? Avevo pensato di farlo costruire da un'azienda, da una grande azienda, che si occupa di cementi, ma poi dopo non abbiamo trovato un accordo, non siamo arrivati a un accordo così facile invece come abbiamo trovato con Emilio. E allora lei ha rifatto un progetto ed è bellissimo. Naturalmente tutti quelli che vengono a visitare, sono davvero tanti, il padiglione del Vaticano mi chiedono: ma lei, professore, qual è il progetto, quello che le piace di più? Io non rispondo, sono tutti miei amici, devo solo gratitudine a tutti e quindi non posso dire quale. Ce ne sono, c'è quello che amo di più ovviamente, ma non lo confesserò mai, non l'ho detto nemmeno a mia figlia. Quello di Carla è un bellissimo progetto che dimostra un'intelligenza di una progettista, di un progettista quale lei è, davvero straordinario, perché il primo progetto era completamente un'altra cosa, era un progetto pesante. It was a Navy scheme with the big volumes, not so difficult to build, but heavy in any case. And afterwards she came out with the scheme, which is absolutely è arrivata con un progetto che è invece assolutamente leggero, lieve, e che è molto difficile da fare. Very difficult to build. The first one, il primo, che era così pesante, era molto facile da fare. Il secondo, che è così leggero, è difficilissimo da fare, perché come tutte le cose semplici, come le cose che apparentemente sono più facili, invece comporta delle lavorazioni molto molto particolari. Non so se, I don't know if you show it this evening, yeah? C'è un punto. La sua costruzione è una costruzione a L, vi racconto una piccola storia così che non so se lei la sappia, anzi credo di no. È una struttura a L che era impossibile da trasferire con un truck, con un camion, troppo grandi, troppo alti. In acciaio 316, acciaio a specchio, perché Carla voleva, she had a very, very funny discussion with Luigi. Luigi è il nostro ingegnere, che è innamoratissimo di Carla da quel momento, perché Carla gli chiedeva delle cose e lui le ha fatte tutte. He did everything. Voleva che questa struttura, che questa costruzione apparisse nel sole con un certo colore e invece durante il giorno scomparisse verde, essendo fatta di superfici riflettenti, scomparisse nel bosco. La difficoltà era fare stare insieme queste due cose, perché naturalmente Carla non voleva che si vedesse una saldatura. No welding was supposed to see. Ci siamo posti il problema, Luigi si è posto il problema come fare questa saldatura. E ci è venuto in mente che saldare, che è la cosa più bella, più difficile. Io sono stato allievo di Carlo Scarpa e sapete quanta cura Scarpa mettesse nei suoi dettagli. E un giorno Scarpa disse: io parto per gli Stati Uniti. E che cosa fai? Cosa fa professore negli Stati Uniti? Vado a vedere come Miss Van der Rohe saldava. tutti gli architetti dovevano andare a vedere come Miss saldava. Saldare è veramente molto molto difficile, non è così facile. E da quell'epoca io ho sempre avuto in testa le saldature fin quando ho ritrovato Carla. Come si salda una cosa che non si deve assolutamente vedere, che è saldata, che sembra assolutamente monolitica, ma i pezzi ti arrivano lì, su un prato verde. Ci abbiamo pensato e abbiamo pensato, si salda anche nel medicale. In tutte le macchine, in tutti gli strumenti che si usano per la medicina, per le macchine che ci guardano dentro la pancia, ci sono dei pezzi saldati e non devono avere nessuna... devono essere liscissimi, devono essere perfetti. Abbiamo trovato 3 signori anziani, che ci hanno detto, ma è facilissimo fare la vostra cosa, ve la facciamo in un giorno, e in un giorno l'hanno fatta. Ed è perfetta. This corner is really fantastic. E tutti li abbiamo guardati lavorare, una lezione fantastica che tutti abbiamo imparato. E poi dopo, un giorno è venuto Norman Foster, che stava finendo di costruire la sua cappella, e l'abbiamo trovato che accarezzava. He was caressing your welding. Norman, what do you do? Norman, che cosa fa? But this is welded. Sì, questo è saldato. I need to know the names of the welders. Oh, there are questi vecchietti qua che saldano in Italia. Saldano. Quei 3 signori stanno adesso saldando un edificio a Hong Kong. È stato il più bel regalo di questa esperienza e sono gratissimo a Carla, che vedrete è bravissima, è un architetto bravissimo, ve li farà vedere. È stata così brava da lavorare con noi e farci questo regalo della piccola cappella senza nessuna copertura che ha costruito a Venezia, fatta di una saldatura, perché davvero il buon Dio si nasconde nei particolari. Grazie Emilio, grazie Carla.
Thank you for the invitation, for your presence, and for Francesco's introduction. I will show the chapel after this very small project that... I'm going to show this object. It's a very abstract object with 9 square meters that I think I'm going to show this before the chapel because I think it precedes the chapel in a way. Isostasy is the name of the object made in Mexico in 2012. It's a gallery it's a space for architecture in Mexico City, and we were very free to propose anything. So this is the object. It's made of 2 magnets, and it suspends this. This is 5 centimeters. This magnet, and it suspends those beams made of brass. So this is the plane with 4 structural situations with these suspended beams. Those are the beams, and this is the calculus that was needed to control these magnets. They're very strong, so I need this calculus to know the distance between the magnets. So the distance is exactly 5 centimeters, and that's what the calculus gave. So I think this precedes the chapel in a way because it's very invisible, and it is a construction. This is the object. as difficult as the chapel to photograph and very invisible. So it's there. It's just a line. And then this is the Vatican Chapel. It's in this garden behind the San Giorgio Maggiore Island. And these are the architects invited to do the chapels. And I'm here together with Soto de Moro, which I think it was a very nice choice from Francesco. This aside the other, because one is the heaviest one, aside the lightest one, that is mine. And this is a video that Francesco sent us. I don't know how to play this video. Wait. So I was not able to visit the site, but Francesco sent us all this video to explain the site. So that was the only thing I had to understand this island and the water behind everything. So it was for me, it was a very inspiring video and very beautiful, because this light that comes and goes. And so after that, the second study was sent to Francesco, and it has this lighting, this appearance and not appearance of the object, with this all the reflections that the object had. This is the side that he sent also pictures, of course. And this is a very inspiring image of Peter Brook, the magic flute. This is his theater. I mean, I think it's very inspiring, his theater, and also Lina Bobadi's work, because it's known as a poor theater. So Peter Brook used very poor elements to communicate symbols. I think it's a very strong communication. And I think Lina Bobadi does that with this chair too. The name of this chair is Chair in the Middle of the Road. So it was two things, and I really like those two pictures, because they have people. I mean, it's inhabited. And skip this. And this is the chapel. It's made of 4 steel beams, stainless steel beams, with 8 meters, 12 by 12, and this is 2 crosses. One is in fact the cross, and the other one is the bench. So it is a synthesis of the program of the chapel. It's an old program. You go to the church, sit, and look at the cross. That is the suffering. So it's like a synthesis of the program. And this ensemble is over 7 pieces of concrete. That gives, for me, it suspends and gives a metric to the ensemble, I think. I heard many times after it was done that it is an object, it's a sculpture, it's an installation, but I don't think so. I think it is architecture, because there is a program, and it's to use. I mean, it's not to see. It's to use. And this is the plan. So the idea first was the 2 crosses, and then after that, the material came to make it more invisible than it already is. So I thought the light was going to be more, or the shades were going to be more important than the object, but finally it didn't happen, the shade, because of the trees and everything. But the idea was to be very, very invisible. And I think as the work of Peter Brook, I think there's always, I think his theater has something that you have to fulfill with your imagination. And I think this chapel maybe has this dome to imagine, this interiority, even if it's not closed. And this is St. Peter Cross. I was not, I didn't knew that when I proposed this inverted cross, because it's the cross of St. Peter that didn't want to be crucified as Jesus. So he, and this is a symbol of humility. So it was very nice to know that after I proposed. Here you can see that everything, you don't see that as Francesco told about the only weld junction, but all the other junctions are made with, como se diz parafuso? Esqueci agora. It's como é que diz parafuso? Wait. Yes. And only in 3 points there was foundation of 20 centimeters. So why to have 7 pieces of concrete? It was something that was only for this metric. And so you can see here the junctions. It's as Francesco said, it's a very simple object, but at the same time very complex with all these detailing things. And it's very 12 by 12, but there's a reinforcement everywhere. Here in the bench, when the cross meets the other cross, so it's very complex at the end. Oh. Here you can see the reinforcements. So this is the process of construction. This is exactly where the cross is attached. This is the reinforcement. This is the 3 pieces for the foundation. And this was the first idea sent by Secco Sistemi for the junction, because I was not supposed to weld anything. But this was not possible. So the second option was the final option of this perfect junction and the highly stainless steel that it could be. And I never associated this with bones, but a friend of mine wrote a text about this, Ana Luisa Nobre from the Catholic University, and she wrote, it's a beautiful text, but I only translate the part that she makes a reference to Aldo Rossi Cemetery of Modena. There is also a possible analogy with Rossi's backbone for the Modena cemetery, a body reduced to its bone, purified towards the absolute. So I never saw these pieces of concrete as bones, but now after this test, it's beautiful to see that way. And this is the beginning of the foundation, and I really love these pictures because it looks like graves, small graves, and then the pieces just, I'll put it there. I didn't follow the construction, I just saw everything done, but I followed all the steps from Brazil. And this is where the problem was, this junction, that was the most perfect thing at the end. And this is the first picture of João Carrilho da Graça, the Portuguese architect, fantastic Portuguese architect that sent me the first picture with everything done, and it was very pleasant to receive this from him. And this is the opening with everyone. Francesco explaining. And this is the area view, very beautiful, I think. When it's inhabited, it gains a lot of beauty, I think, with people. So I have a few Instagram pictures here because it's inhabited, very, very spontaneous inhabited. So the idea is to reflect, and that reflection is a metaphor to life, to the existence, and you see, sometimes you don't see, so it's a metaphor to life of the existent and non-existence of us. this is a few pictures of people, and this is the Fran Lorraine Mazas from Cortile da Gentile. It was very spontaneous picture. It doesn't look like, but it is, because he stayed before the opening hours there, and it was very beautiful to see that he loved it, and he was really inaugurating this chapel. And those are the Instagram pictures, which I love because it's very spontaneous and very nice to see all these people there. This is a nice picture too. This is a video. I think it's a very beautiful video because it's like a photography, so you just feel the wind and this balance. I think it's nice to see that. This is the area view with Soto de Moura and mine. You can see, I just have a few images of his chapel because I love this duality of the heaviest aside the lightest one. So, and this detail is beautiful of his chapel too. I think it's just a cut there together with the junction of the stone. It's beautiful. And this is just only to show that it was also for fun. So I know the kids love to be there walking around. This is my son. And I will show now the Humanidade Pavilion. It's a pavilion made in Rio de Janeiro in 2012. And it was a temporary pavilion that the construction and the project last 6 months. And it was open for the public only 2 weeks. And I like this manifesto because it really is something that comes out from the condition, the condition of the site, what I found there. It's there at the end of Copacabana Beach at this peninsula. And it was like a continuity of a scaffold base that is always constructed there with the same for the events, with a plastic white tent with air conditioning inside. So it was like, it's that what I found when I visited the site. And it was about taking out this plastic that is there and continue those walls. So the project, the base was, the foundation was already there. And it was about continuing these walls and do all the programs inside those walls, subtracting when it's needed for the auditorium, for example. This is the time lapses. Oh. This is the time lapse of the construction, 6 months, construction and project. And there was something happening. This is for me the center of Rio, Copacabana. It's not the center, it is Copacabana because it's the place of the events of Brazil, of manifestation events and everything. So there is something happening there and no one knows what happened because the newspaper, the magazine didn't say a word about it. So there was an immense curiosity about this. But when it opened for the public, there was a line of 2 kilometers to enter in this building. So it was like happening, but it's very complicated to explain why the newspaper was against that. So it's a historical problem. And, this is for the event Hue Plus 20, international event of sustainability. And I thought that this is really a project of sustainable because it's made of scaffold, and this scaffold goes to another place, so it's completely reusable. It's 9,000 square meters of project and completely reusable. So it's I could say that the image doesn't look like sustainable, but it is 100%. So this is only an image that made me a reflection about the material, because the origin of the material is Indian, is Oriental, and our idea of temporary, it's not ours. It's from somewhere else. It's from the Orient. It's from the Indians. So it's a heavy construction. Very occidental, but with an oriental material. So those walls that were the walls that existed. It was about continuing this, and what happened is that anything was possible. It was at the end the easiest project to do because the connections could be anywhere, the elevators too, the program could change, so it was very open structure to anything. At the end, I could say that there is no study of form. The form was a result of the process, a result of the structural proposal. So this is the auditorium for 500 people, and the another one, small one there. And this is the section that you can feel. It looks like a little bit chaotic, but when you see the plane, it's not chaotic. There's very clear those 107 meters of wall, of scaffolding walls. So I was not worried about the design at the end. I think any program is possible, anything is possible here. These are the corridors that already existed. So the view to the sea was already there. There was something. I mean, it's like a pre-existence, and it's also very easy to build because there was only one kind of beam, 75 centimeters or 2 meters and 20. So there's nothing it's like a game. And this is the pictures and the construction. This is because it's an immense stone, the floor. So 7,000 points of supports this, and like this, it's very dirty, very, very confusing. But I think in a way it's very nice to say that a heavy construction like this did nothing with the floor. It leave it completely untouched. So this is the 2 meters and 20 high of beam. And this is only to remember that there is a reference obviously with Cedric Price of the Fun Palace that was never constructed, but he did it in porticos, not with walls like this. But I think the intentions are completely different. I think the intention of Cedric Price was to begin to construct this image of the future. He began, I think, the idea of the high tech. So he had all this future in mind, and I think here the intentions are completely different. It's an intention related to the time, to our time, about sustainability and everything. So the image is similar, but the intentions are different. This is the line of 2 kilometers every day. It's very amazing how. And part of the building was free for the public, and the other part was for the conference U+20. This is a very beautiful view from Ipanema, I think, because you don't see a city. It's just the beauty in the nature. So it's more magical to see in this. And after that, I began to. There was a commission to continue this building in Brasilia and continue this building in São Paulo. But obviously, it was not possible to copy and paste. Everything stopped because of the crisis in Brazil in 2014, but the idea of the project's there. So in Brasilia, it's a very hard city to, everything is enormous. It's the modern city constructed in 1950 by Lúcio Costa and Oscar Niemeyer, and it's on a scale that it's impalpable. It's impossible to intervene, including it's impossible to intervene in this design. I mean, so the idea was to for this building was like almost like a ready-made project. Before that they wanted to put in the middle of the Esplanada dos Ministérios. These are the ministries, and it was impossible because the scale is huge. So I couldn't do it between them. I couldn't do it in the middle. So the idea was to add another ministry, and with the same dimension, with the same height, with the same distance between them, and made a scaffold for this event. And this is only a study. I was not able to continue this, but it's like a ready-made. That means it doesn't want to have a presence. It wants to be invisible as a project with no design. And in São Paulo, the observatory, the name of the project is Observatory of the City. And it's in this very typical areas of Latin America that are in the middle of the center. There's an immense empty that no one can explain. But the emptiness of this area is also a wall because it's so huge that no one traverses this empty. So the project is a critic to this abandonment of the city. So it is in fact a wall, a temporary wall over the roads. So it's in fact a wall because I think the wall exists because no one traverses, and it's a place for it's one only floor over the roads, the place for the city, an observatory of the city for reflection, for discussion of the city. This is only like ideas for possible continuity of the Humanidade Pavilion. And I will show now what I really do in the office, that is a housing project and exhibition design too. This is a house in Santa Teresa. It's the last one that I did. It's always these houses. They are never more than 140 square meters, which is very uncommon for Brazil because or we have very simple houses or we have huge houses in Brazil. So this is in the middle of the very uncommon to have architecture for this commission for this kind of work. And I really like it because I think it's a synthesis of what you really need. Why to have more than that for a family? So this is an adaptation to the soil. They are all very cheap houses. They're not expensive at all. So this one, I could say that is the less expensive because it's very thin, the structure, and it's on the floor. So it's one only point that connects all the houses, 45 meters, with this corridor that connects everything. So this is the corridor that goes to the living room, the rooms, and so there's always this challenge of doing something cheap. cheap materials with light structure too. This is another house, Casa Varanda. It's in the middle of this perimeter that has in Rio, that's between the city and the forest. So this is a very beautiful site, but at the end the house was in the middle of everything, with this section on the roof that emphasizes the cuts also in the terrain. It's like, because the house is cut in the terrain too, and the skylight too. So and those walls, they are all parallel walls, white walls, to receive this light. So it's a continuity of the day, of the passage of the day. And this is one that's under construction now, that is in the middle of huge, like almost a farm, because there's plenty of animals, and this is the building foundation, because it's made of concrete blocks through the floor, and there was no need really for a foundation, so these walls come from the floor and support like a perimeter of steel beam. So it is over those walls, and the walls, they continue to receive again another ring of iron beam. This is the plan, the living room inside, because it's a very windy area, so I want to do this very closed house, but at the same time that could be open to any sides as a reference. So this inside wall is open to the balcony that opens to outside, and the walls, they continue to the roof to support the roof. And it is obviously a reference to the references of the houses that with no sides, reference to La Villa Rotonda, that has no, 4 entries, and then again in the roof there's a cross of iron that supports again pieces of concrete blocks, and to continue this roof in the center. And this is a sketch that I love from Cersaie, a sketch with Villa Rotonda, where the Villa Rotonda is in the top of the world. And I think it's a very nice sketch, because the top of the world doesn't exist, so it's beautiful, this drawing. This is another house, one of the first houses that I did, Casa Rio Bonito, with this river passing. It's very strong nature, and I decided to do also a very strong house because of the humidity and the conditions there. And the wall has 1.10 meters, made of stone with these beams, with no structure inside. So it was, there's only like this box made of concrete to protect the iron beam, but the steel beam. But I had many critics about this, especially from Kenneth Frampton, that said, why do you close this junction with stone? Why don't you make this concrete box appear in the facade? And I think it made a lot of sense, because it was very ridiculous to put small stones to cover this concrete part. It's a very simple house with only 1 bedroom and everything connected. And this is the detail that he was talking about. I mean, when this concrete protection arrives in the facade. It was very experimental for me. I was too young, and the water, I didn't know about a few details, and one of them was the water that came from inside the stone so it was really, there was really a problem with water, but now it is under control. After many years, it's under control. So this is the junction. And the stair that goes to the top of the roof. And I also work, as I said, with exhibition design and temporary things for museum. This is a children's room that, after a conversation with Paulo Mendes da Rocha, he said once, I'm going to do one day a house that kids enter by any side, and the wall is only for the grown-up. So when I had this commission for children, I said, I'm going to make the children come from everywhere, and only a door for the grown-up. So inside the place for for art, and in the perimeter the drawings are exposed of the kids. So. And this is another exhibition design project for Carrancas. It's a project that Lina Bobardi did in the 60s, an exhibition of these objects, these sculptures in Amazon. They go in front of the boats to protect the boats. So it's considered art, and so there are many exhibitions about this. So I thought that the idea was to keep the sculpture higher, like this, like a reference to the Amazon boat, so you can see always from down. And now I'm going to show the project of the other project of the Venice Biennale. That is a project that didn't really work out, because the curators, Yvonne and Shelley, they invited, and I did a proposal, and at the end it was not possible because of the budget, because of also they didn't approve to have 20 centimeters of foundation, only 20. So it was very complicated, the process, and I said, why to do something? I mean, it's okay to leave the project. And they said, no, we have to show all this work that you did. It was a lot of work. So the proposal was to construct benches for the entrance of the Biennale, to people to sit and rest, because it's very tiring. So we're considering their manifesto, the Free Space Manifesto. I understood that this Free Space Manifesto as a democratic manifesto. So I'm going to propose something for everyone to sit and rest. That's what I understand as democratic. So this bench is made of navy ropes. That's something that you see a lot in Venice, and also pieces of concrete that as a reference to these sea defenses. So the project was supposed to have pieces of concrete with the end 3 meters and 60, and stretch this cable. But it was really amazing to study this project with the engineers, because I thought that with the first drawing, that was this one, that the ensemble of the concrete was too much. Wasn't I mean, it's too heavy for this tension. But was the contrary. The tension was so big that this was not enough. That's why the foundation was needed. So I was supposed to have a few benches like this, and there was this problem of flexion of horizontal strength. So this is the process of calculus. It was a lot of work. At the end, we did only a small prototypes of this. So it was not a really good result, but. And then we have these pieces of concrete, and this red part is the support for the construction. That means that at the end, they have a stable, I mean, you have the stability with the three pieces, never with one or two, with two. So these are the cables. This is really big. This is 32 meters of bench. And this would be the foundation of 20 centimeters. And that would be the process of construction. That for the prototypes, it really happened. So this is the prototypes in the garden of, next to Álvaro Siza works. At the end, it was nothing. It was not sculpture, it was not a bench, it was not, but it was a prototype. We can see like this. But anyway, people were sitting around and sitting over that. But it was an experience at the end to understand about cables and all this process of this bench that looks simple, but it's not. So at the end was that, only people sitting around and this. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming. If you have any questions or anything to ask, please do it.
Ci sono domande? Mi sembra di no. Va bene, grazie.